imagine how life could be if we all live like Sweet Charity.
Incredible.
One day we could all be just like Sweet Charity, helping out a stranger, loving your own neighbor, loving like we're brothers from one to another, faces without color in harmony together.
Just imagine how life could be if we all live like Sweet Charity. Just imagine how.
Just imagine how.
Incredible.
Sweet Charity.
Sweet Charity.
Please belong to me.
And that wonderful, wonderful piece of music was by our next guest, Derek Gray. Derek, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
How's
Whoa, my voice sounds really deep in here.
It does.
It's early
doesn't it?
morning.
It is.
Right.
That's the best.
Kind of
time.
Howard Sternish, huh?
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
That was our we're the predecessor.
We're the predecessor. Oh my gosh. Derek, thanks for coming on the show, man. Seriously. I think it's such a weird question to ask musicians, and I want to know how you feel about it whenever people ask you, what type of music do you play? Or like, what kind of style is it? Because no one ever asks an actor that, you know, like, hey, what type of style of acting do you do? You know?
Right?
Does it get annoying when people ask you that? Or is it hard to describe?
It is hard to describe because, I mean, I've went through all my periods of writing like a super aggressive rock to pop to orchestration. So, I mean, I guess you could call it pop rock. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but
No, I'm just always...
anything with hooks, anything that grabs a listener's attention. That's what I love.
Yeah, and you have a single coming out this
Yes.
week, right?
Just imagine.
Just imagine.
Yes.
You said you took a pretty long hiatus, right?
Playing live, correct.
Playing live.
Yeah.
Why was that?
It was kind of by accident. Okay, so I have a big past, right? So,
Let's go back from the beginning.
I was like,
Let's go back to
Wait,
the
we're
beginning.
starting towards the end. I want to hear
Well,
what's happened. Like,
Okay,
how-
so
I want to Quentin
back.
Tarantino it. I want to start at the end and go back.
last November, let's see. Okay, I have an SR22. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I'm going to fill you in with all the DUI data.
Okay.
And that was my second DUI.
Okay.
I blew a .42. That was like borderline death.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm a good drinker, so. Okay, so my insurance company screwed up. I was blaming it on them, but basically it is my fault for getting the second DUI.
Yeah.
And they called me up and said I lost my license. Your SR22, you let it lapse or whatnot.
Mhm.
And so I was homebound and I had really nothing to do except for write. And I was trying to put my perspective on the positive. What can I do at home?
Yeah.
Can't go anywhere. I'm stuck here. So by accident, I came by this postcard from my Mbox. It was a free download of this music software program. So I downloaded that because I wasn't using any kind of software before. I was going into the studio recording. And as soon as I recorded downloaded this software, I started recording and it was off to the races. And I stopped working out. I stopped giving it shit about my diet, all that stuff. And I just went to town about just writing all my ideas I had before. And so basically, I don't know why we weren't playing live, but we weren't really doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't even focusing on that. I was just like one track mind. All I want to do is be in my studio and write, and that's it.
Does
that make
is
sense?
It a choice,
Yeah.
or did you choose not to do that, or is it just sort of like
It happened by-
just like were forced yourself to do? Because I feel like you.
It happened by accident, a happy accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I love it. And now I'm up at 4 a.m., writing every day. I mean, I can't get enough of it.
That's something I admire about musicians in general, musicians who work hard. My brother is a musician as well, and in his free time, he's usually either going recording somewhere or writing music or playing his guitar and practicing. And it's that practice aspect that I want to kind of delve into a little bit more with you, that a lot of actors don't do. You know what I mean? As artists, you should be practicing your whatever craft that is,
All day long.
Right.
Thinking about it 24/7.
Was that something you've always wanted to do? Like, was this like when you decided to get started? Sorry.
That's kind of
I'm going back. We're doing a flashback.
Music, yeah. I started playing drums when I was like 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
I started playing drums, and then I moved over to piano, and then I started playing guitar in my teens. But I always absolutely just fell in love with songs. I just remember songs from the time I was little, That, anything that changes your emotion for the good, I'm addicted to because I have addictive personality,
Yeah.
So
Is that why you're waking up at 4 in the morning, or you find it?
no, because I'm addicted to this now, so
I'm
it's
going
just
to
another
bed by
addiction.
4 a.m. I don't know. Just like,
Are you getting your ideas from stuff you read, stuff you watch, or past life experiences? Not past life, like in like hundreds of years ago, but like in this lifetime.
I gotcha. Let me process here. Let me think. I think it's mostly current right now. I mean, with, say, for the single Just Imagine, Susan's dad was very ill, and he's John McMartin, big Broadway actor, and I only met him twice, and I wanted to get to know him better, but we weren't in New York. That's where he lived. And so I just started going on YouTube and listening to his voice and all his songs. And so...
Sorry to interrupt, but just for reference, Susan
Yes.
is your significant other.
Yes.
Yes, for the listeners.
She's my
Susan
fiance.
McMartin.
Yeah.
Basically my wife.
Cool.
She's definitely number one inspiration.
she was awesome.
I know.
We had a blast.
The cocaine thing was great. I think
I don't do coke!
yeah, watched that a million times. Whenever I'm having a bad
Can
day,
we put
just
that on
put
a
that on.
t-shirt? Like, I don't do coke. That's gonna happen.
I was like, purposely, I'm like, don't do this, don't do that. So, anyways, so I started getting into sampling, and I just sampled a few of his lines. Incredible, and there was a song called Sweet Charity. And that one, I mean, of course I was moved, and I was so hurt that he was so ill, and Susan loves her dad so much. And that one honestly just came out so fast. I just sampled a couple of his vocal lines, and it just started. That was like divine inspiration. That was just, it just completely came out. And then I added Susan's daughter, Hannah, to sing on it as well. So we have basically 3 generations.
Wow,
of
that's
singing.
amazing.
And so it was like, I don't know, that song means so much to me. It's so magical. And yeah, I guess it would be like from current experiences right now. I'm kind of going like all over the place right now, but
No. I'm always curious because just for any artist in general, I love to know where they get their inspiration from.
yeah.
Because there's definitely some crossovers for me with music and acting. I know this sounds maybe a little weird, but
No, yeah.
first off, I get either pumped up before an audition if I want to get focused and ready. I have a certain set of songs I want to listen to.
Right.
Or if I know it's a certain type of character,
Yeah.
I make a playlist. So on my way to the audition, if I know I have a drive, I'll be listening to those type of songs to
Right.
kind of get in the mindset of this character. You know what I mean? Like, what type of music does this character listen to? And music for me is like, oh man, it's a great motivation. When I'm working out, if I'm running in the mountains,
Yes.
I have like epic music playing and I'm imagining like I'm in a battle. And that's what gives me that adrenaline boost to keep
Totally.
going forward. And it's amazing how music can just do that to you. It like strikes something in your head, in your imagination, and it just like
Same
so
thing.
vivid.
Yeah.
It's
Same thing with movies too. If the soundtrack is just
yeah.
magical and just right, the movie just takes on a whole new meaning level. It just goes
Yeah, it's like essential. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. There's one example I can give like that. Recently, I don't know if anyone has ever watched. You right there?
Yeah. I was looking for the Facebook Live thing. I guess we're not doing it.
Oh
today.
no, we don't have we have to charge the.
Gotcha.
yeah.
All good.
So we're working on it. Stranger Things. I don't know if any of you have watched it yet. Yes, it is so
I'm
good.
gonna get up and do
Oh,
a
it
happy
is-
dance because
yeah.
that is so amazing.
right, and the
Everything,
best
the
part,
soundtrack.
the soundtrack in that is so freaking
Even
good.
when it opens up, the analog synths from
Yeah.
the 80s, I mean, it's real analog. It's just like,
They hit
was
it
hooked.
so well. And like there's like, because there's like a lot of 80s stuff that doesn't transfer for me.
Yeah.
And like, but the soundtrack for that, is so good. Everything
there's
about that's so
something
good.
about that show. As soon as we turn it on, and even the logo and everything.
Yeah, it's like, was
was
this
grainy
made in the
and-
80s? Did they just not release it?
You haven't-
It's just like,
You haven't seen it yet?
I've seen the first 10 minutes of it. The first 10 or 15 minutes of the first episode. I was literally like, everybody's talking about it. I'm going to shovel or food in my face while I'm like watching this, and then I have to go. And
Yeah.
But no, it's good. I got to see the intro and like the very first part. It's a Goonies
twisty.
feel. It's a very 80s
Total
movie.
there's a
Goonies,
certain
E.T.
point where,
Yeah.
I was like, E.T. meets X-Files, and then eventually it has a Goonies-esque-ness to
Yeah.
it.
Especially those little kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there's two things I want to hit. First off, it's amazing to me how much music plays a part in like a film or TV show. If you ever watch like a very famous movie clip without the music or like without the
Oh, yeah.
I wonder what it would look like.
I know.
Probably totally different. It's like, come on, speed it up, people.
Yeah.
Well, there's something trending right now where they're taking someone was like Celine songs and they're like putting Celine Dion songs over like clips from movies. So they had like
No
the
way.
scene where Hayden Christensen's like burning up on like in the third Star Wars movie, and like Obi-Wan Kenobi's just watching him, and they just have like Celine Dion music in the back, but it's like it oddly works. I don't know how this is happening.
No
but,
way.
Like it's
I
actually
love that.
like the Titanic song is playing in the background while he's like being set on fire. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, I feel it. Yeah. So like we should swap out songs for movies and see how they work.
You guys seen Fight Club, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the ending with the Pixies coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. I'm like, can this get any better?
Right?
It's all about music.
And then there's like this other aspect to it. Like, you know how we were talking about how that Stranger Things has an 80s feel to it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Those filmmakers are responsible for a whole decade of just like, okay, this is a genre. The 80s have become a genre with like, the what's it called? Like
The synth.
yeah, the synth.
Uh,
And then like the 90s, it's like those action movie, that music's like, dun dun or something
Right,
like that.
right.
yeah.
I don't know. It just
It's just-
amazes to me like how much.
It's a weird. I think for me, it was like a weird thing to watch for something like that because you know that they put in the quality to research what
yeah.
was the right thing to do. Because there's, like I was saying, there's a lot of '80s music that doesn't transfer over well to like the current state, and like the fact that you can have a heightened moment in a movie now, and it's set in the '80s, and it's still like, and it still
Yeah.
has that weird like sound to it, but you're like, it just you get
Yeah,
excited
it
for it. It
just
like
grabs
pumps
you.
you up. I don't
That's
know what
the thing,
it is.
though. I mean, have you thought about that, though, with each genre, like the 80s, classic, 90s, is it as classic as 80s? Is 70s as classic as 80s? Does each
What does classic mean?
decade? I know, right?
Right.
Well, I feel like I don't know. I always
So I'm thinking about the 90s right now,
monologues. It's all about voiceover in movies.
right?
All I think about is like Clueless, like all those
Oh,
films that like
yeah.
have like that like
Really?
yeah, like I think of like those movies that have like the background like tracks of like people talking over scenes in films. Like that's 90s to me. Also like just because there's like a fine line between the 90s and 2000s. Like action movies are always like the one that confuses me between 90s and 2000s. Like what's the difference?
I don't know. For me,
Speaking
it's
of
the
monologue,
Yeah.
I got to do a little Susan's Movies coming out.
Oh,
yeah. Oh my, which one is it?
Mr. Church.
Church.
Mr.
That's
Church,
right,
yeah.
That's right.
There's a lot of monologue in that. It's a great movie. You guys got to see it.
Can't wait.
It's from the 90s?
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Totally kidding, Susan. We don't do
She
coke.
said it took 10 years to make, so.
In your music, are you collaborating with anybody, like whenever you're recording or anything like that? Do you work with other people? Or is
I
it just-
do, but lately it's just been me
Oh, wow.
in the room. I like collaborating. It does spark more ideas in the future, but writing on the spot, I'm such an introvert when it comes down to it. I mean, after this, I'll have to like recuperate for like 2 days and just be by myself, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause get my batteries charged, and after
No.
I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I can't socialize.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's hard. Like when you have an idea, I still get shy. It doesn't like, I'm like, how about this? And how about that? I don't do that still, you know? And it bugs me because I'm like, I need to be more confident and voice my opinion or voice my creative ideas and whatnot, but still hasn't happened yet. So I feel more comfortable coming in with an idea, a verse, a hook, a chorus, something to spark and work on that and then go from there.
Yeah.
Whereas just coming up something from nothing, I tend to be super shy about that.
Is it because you're afraid of the quality, afraid of the rejection?
Rejection.
Yeah.
I have issues.
No. You're talking to an actor.
It is rejection. I'm such a people pleaser too. You know, I want people to love it. I mean, you can't. Of course, I mean, you're an artist. You're not going to please everyone. Some people are just going to hate your stuff. You know.
I mean,
you
who
just
do-
got to get over it. You got to get over it and just do it. I mean, writing songs, it's just like you're naked. You're standing naked in front of the world. You know, it's painful.
Yeah, I mean, which artist creates stuff in hopes that people hate it? You know.
I know.
That would be a cool artist. I wonder what they would make. Just like
Kar-
no care to the world. Oh, yeah. Let's not use the artist term for that.
You know what? That's very true.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
that's going
very
too far.
true.
Give him too much credit.
No, I was just curious on like collaborating because there is that fine line, and you got to find the right person to collaborate with. Kind of first off, you're vibing off them, you're comfortable around them. It's okay for you to say like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Where you know you're not being like hurtful to
Right.
them. It's hard finding, I think, just in general, that collaboration aspect with anyone.
I mean, I do. I have 2 collaborators, and they taught me so much. And I am comfortable around them most of the time. I think maybe we wrote 3, 4, 5 songs together. But it's still uncomfortable experience for me. But it's uncomfortable is good. I should
Yeah.
do it more often. You know,
Yeah, uncomfortable is good.
it is, and you learn so much from other people.
You don't
As
grow
far
from
as-
being comfortable, that's for sure.
I know.
I mean, even like
Honestly.
working out, like that's why you get stronger because you're putting your muscles and your body in an uncomfortable situation.
Exactly.
But it's hard to get into that, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Mhm.
I totally get it. What were you going to say, Jordan?
I was always saying whenever there's something that's like literally terrifying for me, it's worth doing. Because
Totally.
you're just like, you just put yourself in like that position where you're just like, I don't know if this is gonna work out, but you're like, who gives a shit? Just
Yep.
do it. Just do it.
Gotta
See what
have
happens. More than
the
likely, you're
FU
gonna
face.
get like, like at least it's experience.
That's the whole thing, though. I mean, I'm terrified after Susan always says you go through like a grieving, you get depressed after I finish a song because I'm like, what's next? Blank screen, blank page, guitar, piano. I'm just like, oh my God, here we go again.
Again, you're talking to an actor.
so terrifying.
But that's the thing. I think you.
But once you do it and you put yourself, I'm like, get over it and just go and don't think. As soon as I think, I'm screwed. But if you just get into the moment and all of a sudden 12 hours later, you're like, it happened again.
Here's something, I don't know if it'll resonate with you at all, but for me, it's that same thing with an audition.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to create this life from nothing. You know what I
Right.
mean? I have the script, great. It gives me a skeleton to this person, but I've got to fit the rest of it in. And I put so much work into this, knowing most likely the chances, just numbers, I won't get this job, but I have to put in the work.
Right.
And this is what I want to do, so I'm going to put in the work. I want to. I love to put in the work.
Yes.
And that's why when the audition is done and you're like, oh, I got this great person, you come in, you nail it, and then you don't
And
get
you-
to perform it anymore, and it's like, oh, that person's gone.
Yeah. But you learn, I guess you can think of it, it's a learning experience each time, you know? I figure, I mean, out of 100 songs, if 7 make it, I just always do a numbers game. I'm like, okay, you just gotta, I mean, that's what the reality is, I mean, most songwriters like that are established, it's usually 100 songs and 7 actually make it.
That's what my brother said, and I was surprised when he told me like how many songs he wants to write by the end of the year.
Mhm.
He said like 60 or
I
70.
want to meet your brother.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
man. You got to. I'm not just saying it because he's my brother. He's a super talented guy.
Is he?
Yeah. I'll let you listen to some of his stuff if you
Definitely.
want to meet him.
Yeah.
But he told me like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get like 60 or 70 songs by the end of the year, and I'm like, excuse me, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
I thought he was just fucking with me, and he's like, no, like 60 or 70.
We're allowed to
from
say
those
the F word,
13
I take it, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Fuck. We're good.
Gabe, did we get that explicit rating on iTunes yet?
I just primed the pump right there. So I think you know what's weird? Imagine how many. Because I was just saying to my friend Rob the other day, who I'm helping him release his like EP and stuff like that. So and he's saying the same thing. He's like, I already have like 60 songs that I've done like written down and everything. And I'm like, can you imagine how many songs the average artist makes, and then how many songs are just never really out there? Like, there's got to be so many songs that just like there's just a plethora of art that hasn't been explored by everybody.
Well, the
who's ever made
competition
stuff.
is so fierce. It's so.
Well, like I've said before on the show, like my best performances have been in rehearsal with me and my scene partner and the director, and no audience.
Really?
Those are my best performances. There's nobody's ever gonna see them, and they're gone. They're gone.
They're just a
in the
moment.
ether. They're just a moment. That's
Yeah.
gone. Do you like Tool?
I used to way back in the day when I played drums more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maynard, the lead singer.
Yeah. Heard a
super
lot about him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I heard
One
that.
of the best podcasts to listen to, like just in
I heard
general.
He has that. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know if he. I didn't know he has a podcast, but I know he was on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple of times.
Yes.
Man, that guy.
Love Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan's great. He does this thing where if he has this natural like pull towards something like winemaking, he'll just go do it, and he does it like hardcore, like all the way. And it's like he's like a winemaker, and he creates, and it's just so interesting. Like we're not just I think like artists in general are just so we're not just put in a cage like, okay, you're just a musician.
The box.
You're just a guitar player,
Yeah.
a singer. Yeah. Like, especially nowadays, we can go explore like a lot of different avenues. I know you as a producer, you're writing, you're doing all this stuff. You have to
I mean, look at Jared Leto. I mean, kids think Jared Leto think like, oh, he's a rock star, and now he's an actor, where it's opposite. He started as an actor.
Went into that, yeah.
Then he went into music. But
And now he has an Academy Award.
Exactly.
Right?
What a journey.
I know.
What I was gonna say is like I can't function like I have a friend that me and Nicole have a friend, Travis, that like I was always jealous of the fact that he'd just be like, you know what, I want to paint, and like he'll go out and buy paints, and then he'll just like paint this thing, and I'm like, oh, fuck you, dude, that looks so goddamn good.
It's no
And,
fear.
like,
I
yeah.
love that.
And he's like, oh, you know what, I want to sculpt, and like he'll pick up like, and I'm just like, fuck you,
See,
man.
that's the key.
I
Is having a
cannot-
childlike attitude of like, I can do it all.
Yeah, I can't
it's
do
that.
that.
It's that pull though. You know what? Being aware of that. Being aware of like internally, like
That-
I want to do this for
Right.
some reason. I'm just gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
And don't like. I'm just gonna listen to this.
Exactly.
ignore-
Listen to your heart. Yep.
Ignore for the most part whatever is going on there. And I totally get that.
It just drives me crazy because my mindset's like, I'm good at this and I'm good at this. I'm gonna stick to that.
Right.
And I'm like,
Interesting.
because I want to build it up and I want to be really good at that.
Yeah.
But like, I often just go, oh, but that seems like so much effort to go off and make wine. I'm not actually thinking about that, but like,
I have your friend Travis's that inclination, like with archery for me. I remember like just hearing it on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I'm like, I'm gonna look up a YouTube video on this,
Yeah.
and then go out and buy a $500 bow and arrows and just start shooting shit. Just because I'm like, how did I get here?
you're just
Oh
out your
my
window.
God.
You're just like firing out into the public. I have a question. We recently just talked about, actually it's going up tomorrow with my other podcast, but Raina and I had talked about our lowest of low points and how we were able to rise above it. Like, like, have you ever found a point in your life or your career where you just like wanted to? I'm sure everyone has had that, but like you've like wanted to just give up, or like you've been at like life is just like taken so much on you, and like how have you found a way to rise above?
This too shall pass. No, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. I definitely believe in a higher power. I think all songs, creativity, we have no idea this power, but once you tap into that power, game over. You know what I mean?
Game over like you're dead? Or
No, game over. It's
Once you figure it
it's
out.
on.
Yeah,
Just imagine when I started writing that. I swear to God, I wasn't even writing that. It just came out, and then 2 days later, I'm like, what just happened? You know what I mean? So, getting back to your question, getting over those, just patience and being in the moment. I mean, when we all project in the future, I want this, I want that, I want this, rather than just enjoying the moment now of creating or acting or whatever you're doing. It's so much more fun being in the moment than going, I want this, I want that, I want my song on the radio, I want a number one hit, I want this. All would be nice, but enjoying the journey, not the destination. I mean, you heard that before, but it's so true. It's so key. Just being in the moment.
Yeah, I don't think people realize too that a lot of times if they're lucky enough, when they're like, I want this, I want this, I want this, and when they get all that, they were like,
I'm still not happy.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're not happy now, you can have everything and you're still not going to be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that's helped me is, and might seem a little bit morbid to people, but I think it's definitely something where people need to be aware of. And for me, it's a daily thing. Like, hey, this show can end at any time.
Exactly. I mean, even with Susan's dad passing, I'm just like thinking, like, life is really so freaking short.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's going by so quick. And I'm just like, what do I want to do? First of all, I want to help people. And I can do that through music, with my story, inspiring people, changing people's emotions. And so every day I wake up, I'm like, oh, I just want to keep on doing this, write as many songs as I can until I pass. But you think about that, you're like, how life is so unfair. You get close to your family, you get close. I can't even imagine losing Hannah or Susan or anything like that. I mean, it's so unfair, but I mean, it's life.
It's A, we don't have any control over it.
No.
B, we have to realize that whatever's in our bank account doesn't transfer over to our next
Exactly.
life. So money is definitely not the answer for everything. It
No.
can make things easier.
Yeah.
It can be a tool for things, but it's not the end all of happiness.
No.
That's something people have to grasp, especially artists living in big cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, or anywhere overseas for our listeners as well. That, man, you got to make the most of what you're doing with your life today.
Exactly.
There's a great video. I'm bringing Joe Rogan in again, and it's a little cheesy for some people, but I love it. He talks about it for the On It commercial that he has for this brand, and he talks about if your life was a movie.
Yes, I've listened to that over and over again when I've been depressed and down. That's one of the answers right there.
Fuck yeah, man! Be the hero of your own movie.
Yeah,
Like,
but there's great music playing in the background too. I'm just like Rocky. I'm like, yeah! I love Joe.
I mean, Nicole, remember that Assassin's Creed thing I showed you? Like, that's what pumps me up. There's for Assassin's
so
Creed 3,
true.
there's a trailer for the video game, and that pumps me up before I go do a workout or anything like that, or audition as well.
Just like I just picture you watching a video of like an assassin murdering people, and you're like, yeah. Like I'm like,
Who's Joe Rogan's partner? There's a video on him too about like he talks about the grips of depression. I mean, he nails
Is
it
it
on the head though.
His
It's just like
ex-co-host Red Band.
I think it is. He talks about Lucifer, and you have to listen to it.
Oh, yeah. Now I have to.
Oh.
His ex-partner? Do you mean like a significant other or like co-host?
No, his partner, one of the guys on his show.
Okay, cool.
I don't know who it is, but I just remember listening to him. But he hits the nail right on the head about depression and being in.
Yeah. Anyway.
now I'm depressed.
Take your pills.
We're I know this flies by, doesn't it? We're almost out of time, but there's a couple things I want to hit with you. In terms of the creative block that a lot of artists find themselves in, do you ever find yourself in that creative block, and what do you do to bash through it?
All the time, suit up and show up. Don't give up. Because even my last song, I think I was on the intro for like 4 days.
Oh wow.
I mean, literally, I'm like, just trying this chord, trying a melody right here. And then a week later, it really came to life and something really did happen to it. And that one's called See You in a Minute.
See you in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm going to just listen to the intro. But do you think when you just hit on something too, you have to be technically proficient at what you do.
Yeah, because when people say, it's basically when people say they wrote a song like in 10 minutes, they didn't write it in 10 minutes. It took 10,000 hours before of their shitty songs to come up with that 10-minute song that just came out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, because inspiration, it's great when it happens because you feel good. Everyone wants to feel good. But when it doesn't happen, you still bang on the keys. You have to go through that growth spurt. You go on to the next, you're on a plateau and you got to, just like working out, like you said.
Yeah. Who do you draw inspiration from? Musician wise?
Gosh, you know what? I just purchased a book called The 150 Most Beautiful Songs. And this songwriting is mostly from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and then I think it ends with Lionel Richie, My Endless Love. But anyways, the songwriting and the chords and diminished and augmented and how they came, nowadays it's 3-4 chord songs and that's it, which is great. I love pop songs. But getting back to the Bee Gees and the Carpenters,
Oh yeah.
their songwriting, and it sounds so fluent with the melody, that inspires me. Those chord changes, I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because they don't make songs like that anymore.
Mm.
They don't.
That's interesting too, because I feel like, especially with, I feel like when you go back to the roots of your craft, like that's when like back in that time, like that's when music was like forming to where we are now almost
Right.
as a culture. But I feel like more people, especially our age and younger, who are in acting and stuff, don't appreciate enough from like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s.
What it all came from.
Yeah, like the, Arsenic and Old Lace, like all these older like films with all these like actors that started a whole like, I'm trying to figure out the right way to say it. Like there's I feel like there's less appreciation for like the older forms because
I think that's going to come back though. I teach kids, a lot of kids, which I love. And kids, it's so surprising. Some of them listen to Joni Mitchell. I'm like, what? And 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds.
Well, we live in a time which is fucking amazing. We could
it's
literally
all,
listen to.
I know, it's all intertwined. That's why I love it because people are like, what do you like? What do you like to listen to? Before it was just like, oh, I like heavy metal. That's it. Now it's kids are like, well, I like this, I like rap, and this country song I like, which is, I think it's great.
I just love the fact we could literally go on the internet and listen to every song ever made.
I know.
it's crazy. I feel like movies
that makes
need
me
to get
so
there.
overwhelmed.
I
I'm
know.
like,
Even like looking at Susan's dad, I'm like, I get to go back in time and look at these Broadway,
yeah.
Videos, and it's just amazing.
Also, international music.
Oh yeah,
There is it's very like Mediterranean lute. You know what I mean? That type of man. It's like a field of flowers like blooming. Like that's all I imagine. Like just blooming all at the same time. It's just like so intricate, and I would have without the internet probably would have never listened to that kind of music. It's crazy.
I always wish there was a way that you could see older Broadway performances. Like there's really
I
no way to
know.
see stage performance
I
in the
know.
quality that you'd want to, which is also like the beautiful quality to it too.
Right.
Like you'll never get to capture
Yep,
even
'cause
soundtracks.
It's just that moment.
Like soundtracks to stage plays, like they just never sound as good as when you're there and they're just like beaming at your face when they sing. It's like, oh
They didn't have Facebook Live back then.
no. Can you imagine if they were just broadcasting Facebook Live for like Wicked? Like that would just be like the weirdest.
I wouldn't be surprised. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for
man.
having me.
This
You
was
guys
such a
are
blast.
great.
If people want to find your music, where can they go to? And find you?
Dagband.com, dagband.com. That takes you right to the Facebook page, and then Dagband at Twitter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
I think that's it.
And they can purchase your music or their single there.
On iTunes. iTunes is it's long. Derek Anthony Gray, DEREK Anthony, and then GRAY.
Awesome.
Yep.
Dude, it's such a pleasure. Seriously.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Say hi to Susan for us.
Yeah.
She has to lay off that shit, man.
Susan! I don't do coke. Jordan, thanks for co-hosting, man.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks
You
so
okay?
much, guys.
Of course. Are you still playing Uncharted 4?
I am. I just got a PS4 last night. I've said the T very emphatically, and I felt like it sounded wrong. But no, it's like, it's the weirdest thing to play a movie. Like, I was like, I've never played a video game where I'm literally answering questions in a relationship, sitting on a couch eating food. Like, not me, but like in the game. I was like, this is so weird. I'm like,
That's an
what if
interesting
I say
video
the
game.
wrong thing? Right?
I'm totally oblivious to what you're talking about. I'm really interested.
is
I know we have to end, but
No. If you give a
No,
brief
it's like
description.
there's this video game that's been like, this is the 4th installment of it.
Yeah.
And like it's made to be like a movie, and like it's like an adventure movie, but in the beginning he's like, it's like 20 minutes of like not really playing a game. Like you're just kind of like in a relationship, and you're just like walk into the house and she's like, "Oh, can you go get me the food on
No
the counter?"
way.
And you're like going over, you have to like walk to the
weird.
counter, pick up the food.
are you addicted to it
Bring
now?
it over to her, and like you sit and talk, you answer questions with her. I'm like,
Shut
I'm
up.
playing a relationship right now. Like this is so weird, but it's
And the script changes all the time.
yeah, like it's almost like a choose your own adventure, but it's like also a movie.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is so weird. I'm like,
That is actually really cool. See, I
Yeah.
can't start that stuff because I'll never stop.
that's my thing. I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually think I grew out of video games a little bit because I'm just getting a PS4 now. I'm like, it's been out, like they're about to drop like probably like PS6. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
skipping 5. But like I was just like, I'm not really into gaming as much anymore. But I'm like, it's fun to play a story. But I'm like, I gotta go work. I'm like, I can't do this
Yeah.
anymore.
I hear you.
But anyway, pointless. Let's move on. I'm sorry.
Nikki, thanks for coming on the show. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. Nikki, thanks for doing what you do. Big thanks to GVB Radio. Hit us up on our Twitter. Thanks to all of our listeners, actorsanonymouspodcast.com. And you can find me at WeSamKish. Always remember to listen, think, and then talk.